Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the session that I'm really looking forward to. So digital transformation is a constant theme at this conference, as you can guess. But for telecoms, they find themselves in a unique and somewhat paradoxical place. On the one hand, they are the backbone and the foundation that is making this transformation possible across all other industries. But at the same time, this same transformation is pushing the profit margins away from the traditional lines of businesses of telcos. So in a sense, they need to transform faster than the rest of the industry to stay on top. And one such successful story of transformation is happening in New Zealand with Spark Digital. And we have with us the man who's driving the charge at Spark Digital. Andrew Binney heads sales and marketing automation at Spark. And he will be talking to us about Spark's journey to becoming New Zealand's best-run business and how they're partnering with Apttus to make this happen. Andrew, all yours.
Thanks, Brent. I'll have the clicker if I can.
Oh, yeah.
Great, hopefully you can all hear me. So, and also hopefully we've got some stragglers coming shortly too, but so I'll talk slower for them. Yes, so I work at Spark. I've been there for just on a year now next week, and for me, this has been a journey of myself for learning a lot about Salesforce, learning a lot about Apttus actually, because prior to that I was not actually in the Salesforce Apttus world. But Spark New Zealand, we're a large kind of traditionally telco organisation, but very much an IT and business services focused company now. We have a range of customers, so we've got customers from a real small size, there might be a one-man, two-man band customers in terms of business customers, through to customers that have thousands of staff. And our challenge is to try to accommodate all of those sorts of clients and size of clients. So today, I want to talk to you a little bit about our journey, where we've come from, where we are now in that journey, and some of the challenges we're facing, and how we think we're attacking that transformation that we're going through. We very much have been a traditional telco. 3-4 years ago, we were selling mobile phones, landlines, and that was kind of it, very traditional. But in the last few years, we've changed our name from Telecom New Zealand through to Spark. We've changed the way, the kind of products that we sell, turned ourselves into a digital and IT services business. So we're still going through that journey, still learning about ourselves and still learning a lot about our customers, which I'll talk about. But predominantly a lot of mobile, data and cloud services now in what we offer, and trying to digitize everything we do. This transformation, of course, is a massive challenge for us, a challenge for our customers, change the way we think and the way we operate as a business. So, and we'll talk about a little bit of that. So, as part of this journey that we're on, we've created a game plan, our 18-month strategy, you might call it, and out of that comes two key goals. There's quite a few goals, but two of the key goals that particularly my team focus in on around automation is providing amazing customer experiences and being New Zealand's best run business. So what does that mean? I mean, this is my only bullet point slide, I think. Customer back focused, right? So in other words, we're looking from the outside in, the customer view. Instead of us thinking, what do our customers want, and we come up with that solution. We've actually sat with our customers, interviewed them from the small 1-2-man band customers through to the enterprise level customers, trying to find out what drives them, and it's very different through that scale or size of business. So, and a lot out of that, those interviews is coming, they want that digital online experience, they want that self-serve experience. And we heard Andy talking about that this morning at one of the keynotes, around the balance needing to shift from full service, sales staff being involved in absolutely every conversation, through to more over this side of the scale, this end of the pendulum, where we are having self-service and online journeys by the customer. So we have to deliver that, and we're going through that journey now. One of the other things for us is removing the complexity about how to interact with us. We want a one business, one Spark approach to how a customer interacts with us, and so that's challenging the way we think as well. Ultimately, the intent for amazing customer experiences and the measure for that is Net Promoter Score, and three of the key ones there are interaction or service, journey, which is that online journey, and relationship. Our NPS, so the relationships that our customers have with our client managers or our account execs. And we have some key measures that we're driving for in that area. So the second goal is around being New Zealand's best run business. That means having tool sets that are awesome for our sales staff. Tool sets like Salesforce and CPQ that sing. All right, I want our staff to be able to come to work and have tools that actually help them be efficient in what they do. I want tool sets that are mobile on their tablets. I want them to be mobile. I want them to be cloud-based, so that we're bringing them their data, a data-driven day. After they've read the news and been on Facebook, the next thing they do is the system, the tool sets telling them their next best conversation for the day. So we've got a number of projects in place to effectively have an environment for, the dream for me is a brand new staff member comes along in a few months' time, and their world is different because we're just giving them all these tool sets that they need to do their job. We give them a tool belt effectively, so they're really efficient, and we become New Zealand's best run business. In other words, having the right tool sets for our sales team is critical, okay? Across Salesforce, across CPQ. We have our customer lead, opportunity management, through to our configure, price, quote, and contract management, and so on. And that's one of the key reasons why we've got these platforms in place. So I talked a little bit about us being a traditional telco, and that's what we were, but in recent times, particularly initiated by government, we've had a lot of telco as a service imposed upon us, and it was a good thing. But we now have to, and we have altered our product set, so it's very as a service in the cloud based rather than traditional telco products. Yet at the same time, we still have to accommodate those small businesses who've got 2 staff through to those large businesses that have got over 1,000, thousands and thousands. And the government initiation of these as-a-service products continues to grow. There's various towers around network connectivity or collaboration or security, all of which we have to provide in a subscription-based model. So it's really challenging the way we operate as a business, and it's forcing us to simplify our products. Our products have been very complicated, very much like going into McDonald's and buying the whole deal. And then we discount down, and what we end up doing is still give them the same complicated deal, and we've discounted it so far that we're not making the margin out of it that we should. So we're flipping that on the head, and we're just going to give people a burger, and they can upsell to the fries, right? They can upsell to the drink, they can upsell to this and upsell to that. But they start at the bottom end in a more modular fashion, and then add what they want. Makes it simpler for the customer, and makes it far more profitable for us as well. So simpler, faster, far more customer focused. So, as part of our game plan, we've got these two work streams. There's actually 6, but these are 2 within one of our 6 major streams of work in our business at the moment, and that's about reimagining those automation tools and about creating awesome customer experiences. So, let's talk about those. For around sales tools and automation, effectively what we want to do is expand that sales platform for that staff member who comes in and starts as a new staff member next week, so that their velocity is increasing, all right? Because when we have our sales staff producing faster, we've got some options there, all right? They'll either produce more, or we can control the size of our sales staff better, right? And gain those efficiencies where we choose to put them. So In the sales automation, sales tools area, there's a number of projects we're doing, and one of those is around providing that 360 view of the customer. Our sales staff at the moment, they'll enter into Salesforce and CPQ that combined, and they've got to go chasing data. They've got to go looking for information, and if they're new staff and they haven't been shown how to log into this other system over here, that's our reporting system, or this billing system over here, and they haven't been given the login for it yet, or the ticketing system here for service, they just don't know where to find this information, and so they're not informed and they can't have those good conversations with customers. So we're bringing it to them. So what we're doing is, and this is just a kind of a little snippet of the new dashboard that we're building, which brings all this data back into one place, that 360 view, that single view of the customer concept. But the multiple data sources, so we're bringing in data from our ERP, from our ticketing system, our billing system, and Salesforce. So the key is that we've got that one-stop shop place for our sales staff to consume and be informed and assist with that next best conversation. Now, I'll tell you a story because I like telling stories. My family have done a lot of house renovations over a number of years. We basically buy a house, a really old crapper of a thing, and do it up and sell it on and go to the next one. And we kind of lived in it for a little while, but in most cases we just tried to flip it, would be the term. And in choosing those houses, we made sure it was a house with good bones. We made sure that it actually, had the foundations right and the good bones for it. And in fact, in most cases, so we didn't even have to do any building work. All we had to do was fruit up the inside. Okay, give it a lick of paint, put some nice plants in there. Okay, dress up the rooms, everything we see zhuzhing on all those programs, right? And then we were able to on-sell it because it made the house far more welcoming as a place for someone to buy. And what we're doing for our sales staff is focusing particularly on the user experience, which was talked about in one of the keynotes this morning as well. So we're focusing in on Lightning for Salesforce and Angular for CPQ to make sure that we've got the most up-to-date user interfaces in place, the best experience for the staff. I want the staff to be able to come in and be having a nice front door and a really good kitchen to work in, right? Rather than kind of struggling along and not quite knowing where to find things. So one of the other key projects we're working on is around Lightning and Salesforce and in getting all of our products that we've got in CPQ across to the new Angular interface, which will be finished in 2 months, 1 month, 2 months. So very intentional to get the user experience lifted, because we can do all these other things in the house, but if it's not a welcoming house to walk into, then they're just not interested. And then of course we need to bring mobility to those staff so that those interfaces are on the tablet, so that those solutions are on the tablet for them. What we want to do is bring that 360 view, that single view of the customer, up onto the tablet, so then when they're having those conversations with the customer, they've got all the information they need. The next best conversation is right there, being data-driven for them. Feeds come in from the marketing team about churn risk, about the NPS score, about what the next product is. So we're effectively using predictive modeling to say, this, based on the industry that this client is in, based on what they've got now, based on the share of the IT wallet that they have with us, this is the next product that you should talk about. And that will come up on that 360 view on the tablet with that conversation with the client. So those are some of the things we're working on around optimizing our automation tools, our sales tools, to try our best to provide that tool belt for the staff, right? So they've got all the right tools at the right time to pull out for use. The second stream is around the customer journey, their online journey. And one of my colleagues runs this program, and this is her vision statement: to deliver exceptional self-service experiences that actually surprise and delight customers. We actually want our customers, their journey experience, their NPS scores to lift because they're coming to us to our website or however else we interact with them digitally. And so her focus is on doing this, and I work very closely with her because of the tool sets, of course. So I'm going to show you the most complicated slide this afternoon. And it looks like this. But this is about journey, right? So along the bottom we see acquisition, loyalty, retention, win back, or you might call it land and expand and upsell and re-win, all different types of terms. But along that journey with a customer, we're saying, what are we doing manually now, and what could we be doing with the right tool sets? And you'll see various icons in there representing Salesforce, Pardot email campaign system, Apttus, and Adobe is in there as well. And this is I guess, a pictorial representation on one page of a lot of the projects that we have already put in place or are on that journey of creating a digitized journey with our customers. Right, and I go like that. We don't want them to fall off the end there, so we've got to get that win back and use smart email campaigns to nurture them. We've got to use really good websites and interactions with our sales staff so that those experiences, informed experiences and conversations, those experiences for the customers are awesome. And I think in one of the keynotes this morning, again, I saw it was something close to 70% of that sales conversation, I guess, with a customer has actually already taken place. The customer has done 70% of the work themselves with online interaction before they talk to someone within our business. We need to recognize that through the way we create the journey for our clients. So that's that second stream that we're working on as well. So what does that look like for us in terms of transformation? How do we do it? How do we actually make sure we're successful in implementing projects like this? The focus on the tools and the focus on the journey, how can we be sure that they will be successful? And we've focused in a lot on ensuring that we are treating this right across the business, around how we treat our people, reimagining our tool sets, reimagining what our customers want and interviewing them about that, understanding that change culture, that challenge that takes place there. So what does that look like? Firstly, that culture piece, that mindset change. In our streams of work that we've got, in our projects that we've got taking place now, we have a dedicated stream that's around mindset or mind shift. And it's a guy who's effectively interviewing the general managers, working with the sales staff, working with the HR team to make sure that we bring our sales staff along on this journey of quite radical change from a traditional telco 3 years ago, whom many of the sales staff still work in our business, to changing their thinking to being digital in the way they operate. And that's challenging their sales model, challenging the way they think. They now will have opportunities automatically created for them through analytics, through web to lead generation, those sorts of things. Whereas in the past, they're very used to creating everything themselves, creating all those leads and opportunities themselves. They'll have a lot of that automated, and I'm already hearing that the pushback, feedback on that, because they like that control. So mindset change for us is critical to ensuring that we get that right, because there are people involved through this change. Data-driven. So we talked about a data-driven day. So that's a sales staff member having that 360 view, having the data for themselves. But in our project planning, in our strategic thinking as executives, we are also making sure we're making data-driven decisions. All right, and we heard about that sort of thing this morning in the keynotes too, is ensuring that the conversations that we're having about our decisions are data-driven, not anecdotal. When someone says, oh yeah, but they only do that 50% of the time, or oh, they're only using that system 30% of the time. I now, in those meetings, I'll push back and say, where did you get that information from? And I can show them the data that says contrary to what they've said, because we can't make strategic decisions based on anecdotes. Okay, we've got to make them based on data. So let's get the data Let's scrounge around for it. In our projects, in every single project that we have running, we have another guy working with us who's doing all the analysis around what are the costs and the benefits around each and every one of these projects. What is the data driving this project, and what's the return we're going to get? If we can't get that, we take the project off the list and we stop the project. So if the project cannot display a data-driven reason for what we're doing and the returns that we'll get out of it, we will take that project off the list. Thirdly, Agile. Now, an overused term, and yes, my development team work in an Agile methodology, and what do you call that? Everyone's got their own Agile methodology anyway. But for me here, this means flexibility. This means being ready to change with what can often be an ambiguous business, and all of us might be in various industries that can change at a whim. Our customers' expectations are high now. They're higher than they were many years ago in terms of how quick they think we should be able to deliver something. Right, so we therefore need to be very agile. I've just come off my weekly direct reports meeting back with my boss, just the hour before this one, and we've just announced a change in the business that will challenge some of our thinking, challenge some people in the business, some structures in the business, and we've just got to go with it. We've got to be agile. So we've got to put the foundation in place, the framework in place to actually be able to cope with that, right? So that's having the right tools that can work with that. But that's also having the right mindset to be able to deal with a little bit of ambiguity every now and then. Fourthly, got to dream about what can be done. You've got to have that. I've been in IT for quite some time, and I've always had that can-do approach. I've never said no to my stakeholders, because in my view, IT can deliver anything at a cost. But IT can solve automation. So I therefore know that I can dream big. I can see a demo of Max and go, okay, how can I apply that to my business? I can see some of the demos I see at Salesforce, at Dreamforce, and the name, and say, what does awesome look like for our business in a year's time? For that new staff member who starts next May, what does awesome look like for Spark in a year's time? Dream. And so I've laid those dreams out with a number of other people and said, in a year's time, this is what we look like. Now, what are the projects that come out of that? What's aligned with our overall strategy, what's not? And then I focus. Okay, so we can dream, but we have to focus as well and prioritize. So to achieve what we're achieving now, and what we're going to achieve in our next 180-day cycle, we're very focused about what's being delivered. I got an email yesterday from a staff member saying, oh, what were we doing about that texting the customer thing? Where are we at on that? And I said, it does not sit in our 90-day cycle because it was not deemed as important as all these other things. And she was like, cool, understood, makes sense, because everyone's on the same page. But so because everyone's on the same page, I can give the focus. I can say, this doesn't align with our 90-day strategy. Yes, it's cool, but we're not going to do it. It's that shiny ball, that disco ball syndrome. When someone walks into a room, often execs, they'll walk into a room or someone from a vendor has shown them the latest shiny ball piece of their software. And so they come running back to me and go, we have got to have that product added as an app to Salesforce or whatever it might be. We've got to have that. And then the next day, another exec comes along and says, we've got to have this shiny ball because that one's really cool too. And I get all these shiny disco balls being thrown at me. And so we've got to have focus. We've got to have a 90-day, 180-day plan in our case that says this is what we're going to do. And if those shiny balls aren't aligned with strategy and you can't show the decision-making that got us there, the data-driven decision-making that got us there and the return, I'm sorry, but you can't have your shiny ball. And they understand that though, because we're all on the same page. For now, it's working. we've talked about user experience, and this to me is key, right? And I talked about them walking into the house, and the house being welcoming, and the house being laid out that makes sense, so they can find what they want to find. I'm putting some real focus on this across our system integration to make sure that our staff are not doing that whole swivel chair thing between systems like this, or they haven't got the data that they need and they don't know where to go for it. Very big focus on user experience for me. And alongside that, of course, and I was going to put it at the top, but I decided to put it at the bottom, so it's last, and it's the one you remember. We've got to know our customer. And for me, that means two things. Our customer is the customer, the client, right? We've got to know what they want. We've got a room back at Spark that they've kitted out, and it's got the interviews we actually had with, I can't remember his name, so I'll make it up, Jeff from the 2-user site, Bill, so he's like the owner, Bill, the general manager of a 50-user site, and Joan, who is the CIO of a 3,000-user enterprise. And they've actually got the interviews and the questions and the answers that came out, and they all look very different, right? So we've got to know that customer compared to that customer and how we're going to serve up these products, these solutions to them. What part of the tool belt works for her, and what part of the tool belt works for him and his business. So we've got to know our customer. Secondly, my customer is actually the sales staff in our business. So my focus is delivering the best experience for the sales staff and the marketing staff in our business, so that they can then go and deliver the best, awesome, amazing experience for our customers as a whole. So there's some thoughts there around how we are achieving our transformation. It is a journey that we're on. But there are a number of projects that we've already delivered, and with this kind of mindset in place, and we're confident. I'm really confident, particularly around the focus piece, that now we know what we're doing, and it's entirely aligned with our strategy. That I'm not just doing projects for the sake of doing IT projects, but that every single project has a measure and has alignment with our overall game plan. So there's some thoughts around transformation for you. We do have a few minutes for questions if you wish. We've got a microphone here, so we've got a couple of minutes if you want to do that.
Hi, this is very new for us. So how do you load your data into Apttus? So do you have like a certain file format you load it into in bulk?
It's actually something we're working on now, because Apttus is integrated with Salesforce, so day to day it's just happening. But when we want to bring in bulk loads of data, we have various ways to do that, including some of Apttus's products like Xauthor. So there's kind of a variety of ways, and we're doing some work whereby we've got some contract work that was done outside of our whole system, and we have to bring all those contracts straight into Apttus, so we've got the structure, so we can then resell and re-win based on that data. So we're working with the service and solutions team at Apttus to achieve those sorts of things. Yeah.
So how big is your company? So
our company in New Zealand has about 5,500 staff.
Oh, okay, so fairly big.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, for a small company, you need a certain manpower to get the data. That's quite an effort.
Right. Yeah. And there's different ways to skin that cat, I guess, as to how you structure your internal teams to deal with that sort of thing.
So another question I have is, so for a company, if a smaller company, how they can, so apparently you're really moving the risk to Apttus to manage those data. What if some hacker attacked Apttus data, and then you got you have all the data there? Isn't that kind of scary in a way?
No. The data is still ours, right? So I use Microsoft Word, but when I type a Word document, the data's mine. But I'm using Bill's product. So for Apttus, the data is ours. The way we configure the products into Apttus are ours. The way we sell through Apttus is ours. We're responsible for that. So we don't, Apttus don't run our systems day to day. Right, they're there as our solutions provider for that that product. Just as Bill is my solutions provider from Microsoft Word, but Bill doesn't help me type my document every day. So it's having that relationship to make sure that the product's working, but we have the ownership around the integrity of the data inside it. Yeah.
All right, thank
Cool.
you so
Thanks,
much.
Bryn.
So thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
And we're out of time, unfortunately, but thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thanks for that.